Hey guys, it's Bailey. Welcome back to the channel and thank you so much for tuning in to what's going to be a review of some new shadows from e.l.f. I was on the website a couple weeks ago. I feel like this is the story of the beginning of every e.l.f. video. It's like, well, I was on the what's new section and surprise, surprise, I bought something. That's how it goes. That's what happened. I spotted that there were some new eyeshadows, both duos. There are 5 new duo combos and then 5 new trio combos, all of which I have and want to swatch and talk about in this video. But wouldn't you know, I'm on the site today trying to look up, just trying to refresh my memory on pricing and if there's anything special to know about them on the actual product page, and there are new shadows on the e.l.f. site. So what do you think is in my cart? Some new 6-pan cushion palettes, which sound so intriguing. So long story short, look out for that video sometime soon, maybe. But in the meantime, we are here to talk about these new shadows from e.l.f. Let's go ahead and get started. So first, let's start with the duos. These are called the e.l.f. Best Friend eyeshadow duos. Like I said, there are 5 of them. They retail for $3 a piece. This is it reminds me very much of the Essentials line when I first started using e.l.f. that was like all about the product, not at all about the packaging. You are solely paying for the shadows in this palette, which I am not against by any means, just kind of an observation I made. And when I first saw these online, I thought it was a pretty cool concept because essentially these are just like 2 coordinated shadows that are supposed to make one cohesive look on your eye. You get that dimension, but you also get the super simple utility of it all. It just struck a chord with me, which is why I wanted to try all of them just to see about consistency, because something I've run into in the past, and I will actually see further in this video, is that consistency is still kind of an issue for some shadows within the e.l.f. range. So let's go through the duos. First off is Tea for Two. This you get a light cream and then a shimmery pink champagne. Next up is Pink Pal, where you get a light matte camel coupled with a very similar looking light pink champagne, just so you get an idea of a comparison. Let me see if I can, what makes the most sense here. Maybe something like that. The shadows are super similar. I would say the main difference is that the pink in Tea for Two is a hair deeper, and by a hair I mean pretty negligible. So you'll definitely see a little bit of overlap between these two, but what I like about the Pink Pal is that the camel shade in here is a great crease shade, because I find I can wear the shimmery pink champagne all over the lid, including the inner corner, whereas in Tea for Two, the light cream is good for the brow bone and inner corner, but I still feel like I'm lacking that crease shade in this duo. So personally, I really like Pink Pal between the two, especially if you're gonna pick one over the other because you don't want to double up on shadow shades. Next up is Peach Squad. This is a gorgeous duo. Might not be for everyone though. You have this medium, like mid-tone matte peach coupled with this gorgeous shimmery bronzy gold. I think because these two lean so farther on the warm side, like it's less neutral, more definitively warm, it's not going to appeal as much to everyone, primarily those with cooler skin tones, but if you feel like you can pull it off or just want to give it a try, it's gorgeous. But for as much as I love that duo, the next one I'm about to talk about is my absolute favorite from the bunch. This is called Bestie Brown. On one side you have a deep matte chocolate brown, and on the other you have a deep shimmery chocolate brown with like some bronze flecks, so they're not too close in tone. And I love this because it creates such a beautiful but simple, I mean 2 shadow smoky eye. That's not to say the other duos aren't beautiful, but I think there is a skill to pulling together a smoky eye, so to do it and do it affordably and with just 2 shadows, that says something to me, and 2 gorgeous shadows. So love that duo. And then the last one that I have to talk about, or that is in this collection, is called Soulmate. Yes, Soulmate. And this has more of an eggplanty gray hue. Here on the right, or my right, is this deep matte eggplant, and on the other side you have more of a steely gray, but still has that hint of purpley eggplant to tie into the matte counterpart here. And this kind of swings in the other direction, where if you have cooler skin tones, I think this will be a little bit less intimidating, a little bit more flattering on you. But makeup is all about playing around, so don't let any of that deter you from any of these duos, because overall, I have to say, they're pretty great. Both matte and shimmer textures in each of these duos performs really well. Actually, the first one I used was this peach, and I forgot to prime, if you can imagine. Forgot to prime my eyes and was so impressed with not only how they laid over top, like it didn't require a whole lot of layering. The matte was still very smooth. It didn't pull or skip. You know how you sometimes get, you'll actually see in the demo of the look I'm wearing today, some skipping with the matte powder, and I didn't experience that with any of these, with or without a primer. And then even without a primer, these lasted really well, fade-free, crease-free all day. So overall, pretty impressed with some $3 duos, and I really appreciate how well these are coordinated together. They don't feel disjointed at all. They're super great for travel. I packed both my favorite Smokey duo along with the other one that I mentioned really liking, the Pink Pal, because again, like I said, it has that lighter camel camel, and then between the two of those you have an easy smoky eye, an easy everyday eye, and then some room to play in between the two, and they don't take up a whole lot of space in your makeup bag. And on top of that, if you're worried about shadows breaking as they get kind of tossed around in transit, it's not like you're out some huge sum of money because they are $3 shadows. So those are the duos. In short, I would pretty much recommend them all. It just kind of comes down to which color pairing you think is right for you. Now on to the trios, and these are actually called Sculpting Silk eyeshadows. These retail for $4, so $1 more than the duos I just talked about. And you can see the packaging is a little bit more substantial here by comparison. You have this matte black finish with like a smaller sort of window. And these also come in 5 different color combinations. The first of which, might as well start there, is with what I am wearing today, and that is Rosé All Day. Here is this trio here. You get a matte camel, a mid-tone pinky gold, and a deep warm matte brown. These are where I experienced those inconsistency issues I talked about before. For as good as the matte shadows were in those duos, they were kind of patchy here. Lighter creamy camel performed great in my crease. This mid-tone shimmery shade I found was super patchy across the eye actually. It was harder to build up pigmentation, and that was with primed eyes. And then I got into this deeper chocolate brown and ran that in my outer corner, and you can see in the demo how it sort of skipped as I was trying to blend it inward, and I just never experienced that with the shadows in the duos. So for as gorgeous as this trio is, I just felt like it was a whole lot of work to get an eyeshadow look that I think I could have done pretty easily using some of those other duos. Next up is Brown Beauties, and this is a trio I wore yesterday. I don't think I did a demo of this. If I did, I'll insert it here, but I was wearing it in the video where I reviewed the lip plumper. So if you're wondering what was on my eyes, it was this. And I had less issues applying this. You get a light matte cream, a deep shimmery brown, and then a deep matte brown. And I would say overall I had better luck using this, but the lack of contrast between the deeper chocolate brown and deeper shimmery shade, there just wasn't a whole lot of contrast there, so it felt like I was using the same shadow twice in a row. It really didn't add anything else to the look. It didn't add any depth or dimension. It was pretty much like using the same shadow. So I do wish they would have included something a little bit different, maybe a deeper matte or a different color, like a bronzy shimmer here, just something a little bit different so it didn't feel like I was getting 2 shadows instead of 3. Now on to the Berry Please trio. This I also mentioned in a recent video because I was wearing the 3 of these shades under the Stila Magnificent Metal Duochrome, like insanely beautiful glitter. This is what I started out with as a base, very simple. I applied the lighter shade in my inner corner, the vibrant purple all over, mostly like the center and outer half of my lid, and then I deepened up my outer corner with this deep, cooler, charcoaly brown. Overall, I think I'm most impressed with this trio for the pigmentation, especially of this purple shade, for the great contrast you get. Like I said, that you feel like you get 3 distinct and useful shades in this. So if maybe you just want to use the lighter and darker, or you just want to use the lighter and the purple, but you can get a few looks out of this basically and not just feel like you can use any combination of the 3 and achieve the same one look. So if you're into purples, that might be a good one to look into. Next up is a palette, speaking to those who love blue, it's called Fierce Blue, and in here obviously you get a light cream shade, a vibrant like ocean blue, and then a deep navy blue, which is typically a matte shadow in all the other palettes, but in here it's actually shimmery. And I wish it was as good as the purple, but unfortunately this deep navy over here on the side is just a little patchy. It lacks the pigmentation. It just stutters as it goes across the eye, so you get that same, it's just hard to blend to make it look super smooth and even across the eyelid. But hoo boy, this aqua is gorgeous. Still not sure if it's worth it for 2 shadows that work and one that's just meh. Last up is a classic smoky eye palette, and I think I said the purple one was the best earlier. I'm not sure what I said, if it was my favorite or the best. Either way, the purple is my favorite out of these, but only because this is not the color palette I tend to gravitate towards. It's easily the best quality of all 5 though, I will say. You get this really interesting, it's almost a pewter, like I think it might be coming off as kind of a light silvery cream shade, but it's more of an interesting, almost has a hint of like gold, antique gold in it. It's easily the most interesting shade in all of these trios. You get that, then you get a pretty standard but beautiful metallic-y smoky gray, and then on the end here you get your classic matte black, all of which have amazing pigmentation, blend beautifully, they just create a great smoky eye. I just find that using these, like the cooler silver and the true matte black, is a little bit too harsh for my coloring. All of which apply and blend and wear beautifully. I just find that the cooler silver, you know, the intense cool silver and the intense matte black are just a little too severe on me. So those are all of the new duos and trios. Here from e.l.f. Overall, the trios aren't awful. I just find that they are a little less reliable, a little less consistent than the duos, but hopefully in going through all of those and kind of talking out the shades you get and what I think of them helps you understand which might work best for you, which is just true in general for the rest of the products I talked about in this video. Hopefully going through some of e.l.f.'s new duo and trio palettes were helpful for you. I'd love to hear what you think in the comments below. Stay tuned, hopefully, for what will be a video on the new Cushion 6-pack. No, that's beer. Cushion 6-pan shadows. Hopefully coming soon. I have like my finger on the trigger. I'm gonna place that order soon, but would love to know what you think in the meantime. Hit me up in the comments. Please subscribe if you haven't already, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye, guys.